Hello.
Hello.
Are you here? We've been talking about this for weeks. What does prediction do in the industry, and how are you guys different? What are your propositions? Please go ahead.
Thank you for having me here and hello to everybody. So we are in the space of lending. Lending obviously is a very old industry, right? And what we are solving is one of the key problems of lending. So if you know, lending is all about sourcing loans, which is identifying right people and collecting money back, right? So if you look deeply, right, into what lending is, how do you make lending business a success? Okay, you start realizing that lending is more about understanding people, their credit history, how it is evolving over lifetime, and ensuring that your risk is minimized while you collect them. So when we went deeply inside this, what we realized was that there's a huge opportunity to work in the area of collections, because lending is finally about collections. So that's the problem we've picked up. In India right now, for doing retail collections, lenders across the board are putting investing about 50,000 crores rupees of money, just to collect and recover money, which is which is humongous. And if you break this down, you figure out that 80-85% of that spend which vendors are doing actually is going to people, which means all the collection agencies. So we have got over 10,000 odd agencies in India, starting from mom and pop stores to bigger ones, and all sizes across India. They are doing this work, man. So that is the background to what we are doing. Okay, so we are in a very fragmented industry where this work is done by more than 10,000 agencies in India, mainly by people, and very less tech and digital adoption. So what are we trying to solve is what we are realizing that this people centric operations is not very efficient. Okay, right? It is full of errors. It has got own challenges. People that leaves. People are sick. People leave companies. So my business is totally dependent on people. Okay, and people are not that reliable. Okay, so how do I ensure that I optimize my collection operations and offices? So that is where we actually came up with Prediction AI. We thought, let us build an agentic AI solution for debt collection, which is targeting small ticket, high frequency loans. So we are targeting those kinds of loan books where the ticket sizes of these loans is typically lesser than 5 lakhs. So starting from 25,000 to 50,000 to 5 lakhs. So with a spread of consumer loans, consumer your credit cards, personal loans, two-wheeler loans, to also MSME self-providing loan spaces. That's a segment we are going after, uh, because we feel that in this segment, right, there is a lot of unsecured lending which is done, and there is a lot of stress and a lot of risk which is involved there. And if we can use technology to serve this segment, we can actually enable great access to bottom of the pyramid. Okay. That's a problem we are solving, and this is what we're building on. And our core value proposition of Prediction AI is we are AI native, which means there is no legacy of any agency or no software or no tool. What we think in terms of our design of this product is very AI native, right? So we have come up with beautiful design around dual agent architecture, where we have supervisory agents, which actually comes up with strategies, monitors the work, and they have set of worker agents which actually does conversations with every people. So this dual agent architecture is something unique about what we are bringing here. And this is mimicking the agency model, if you see, right? In an agency also you have supervisors and your workers. Okay? So we have taken an inspiration and adapted that to this agentic AI work.
So there's a lot to unpack there. So essentially, AI agents to automate lending services, debt collection, make that process easier for both the company and the customer. We'll talk about agents later, but let's talk about the competition of it. So you mentioned you are an AI native company, so you're not bogged down by legacy or like the old way of doing things. So I'm sure there are new companies right now that are also AI native that want to do similar things, that are working in debt collection, lending services. So what is Prediction's sort of moat in that regard? What is it that your agents offer that other companies do not or cannot offer? So what separates you from other
There are
companies?
SaaS softwares which are available, which are primarily aiding these agencies or helping in the process of this collection, which is collection CRM, broadly, which is doing only minuscule job. That's why the 50,000 crore spend that I just mentioned, right? This software spend is about only 10 to 15%, which is minuscule, right? So there are companies working in building those tools, building those collection CRMs, system of records, providing communication softwares and all that. And then and then this agentic AI native competition is where we are getting into. So some new competition is coming, and then the set of voice AI companies today.
Yeah.
So that's again a sliver of it, not exactly collection. So they are in business of providing conversational voice AI solutions, which means they provide software for multiple use cases, not just collection, but also sales, support, cross-selling, so many other use cases, even appointment booking. So I see that, voice AI players are becoming big. They also have that for it, but when we compete with them, we are very vertically focused, right? We are helping lenders for collection work, which means we are not just voice AI players. Voice AI is just 20-30% of what we do, right? So it's a multi-agentic play. We have collection nuances that we have baked in inside our collection LLM model, to undertake and understand this terminology and how it works. So it has both domain nuances as well as language nuances, right? Which is the clear differentiator of what we are doing vis-a-vis our competitors. Yeah.
And even the voices, there's a very natural tone, how they pick up, how they converse. So just to get into it, how did he build the NLM?
You're right. Okay, so I think building these voice agents, right, is really tough, not very easy. And if you just compare this experience with any text based agent, which is sort of ChatGPT, there are challenges. See, in a chat kind of scenario, right? I can ask question and I can get response after 5 seconds possibly. It's okay. Either experience is not that bad, But in a real time conversation that we are doing right now, every second is important. So the most important thing in doing voice agent is building low latency. So the real time conversation which happens across models to and through has to happen in sub-second. That is the biggest challenge in building voice AI agents basically. Other than obviously making it more human-like, which means getting expressions right, the way we understand each other. So there are so many other things like when two human beings talk, right, we know where to stop. Right? It's called multi-turn taking. A human being can interrupt another human being, and then conversation can resume from there. So how does AI does that job? Right? So let's say AI is speaking and then human is interrupting, and then how does it pick up that conversation? Whether I should continue the previous one or should I revise it the revised context? So how does it handle that? And so there's a set of models which works together. So I'll tell you a simple way to understand how does this real time conversation happens in agentic work
Without the need.
So what happens is like since you are a follower and an agent, AI agent, I do an outbound call because I need to communicate with you. I make a call. We get a call from a landline number. You pick up the call, and then I start saying, I this and this from this company, and I want to talk to you regarding this. You can say, and is it the right time to talk to you? So when you start responding from your side, I take your speech essentially and convert that speech into text to understand what you're saying. So first is I have to understand what customer is saying. Whether it is yes, no, please continue. I am interested. I will pay this. So whatever you are saying is transcribed, basically converted into a text, and that text is converted is fed to the LLM. It generates a response, right? Real time. It also incorporates your sentiment, the way you are responding. Also, is part of it. And it's calculated for generating response. This response is converted back to speech, which is what is relayed back to you when you hear back. So the operation of converting that speech into text to the response to the speech, everything has to happen in sub 1 second.
So, on the note of voice agents talking with people, how do ethics fit into the functioning of your company? So, I was reading RBI's guidelines of fair practices for debt collection. You only have to call in these hours, you can't say this, you can't say that. So, When you're automating this process, when it's a bot doing this, how do you ensure that it is complying with all these guidelines and it's sort of friendly in a way to the user and it's not alienating them? So how do you go about that?
So, ethics and compliance are very important in business. Right? You need to be transparent with trust, with privacy. All those things are important, even in a human world, right? Not just with AI. Do you agree? Now, one thing is having that fair practices code, okay, and compliance is there. The second thing is to enforce it. So, the biggest problem in a human world is that this compliance, okay, to those guidelines is not there, okay, and so that is what is we are actually getting fixed here, okay. So, if you see in AI world, we teach agents, okay, all these fair practices code, all the guidelines, all the best ways to talk about this thing. So, we teach them about how to do best conversations in these scenarios, how to handle stressful conversations. So there are hundreds and hundreds of scenarios, okay, in everybody's life, right? Which is what we train these agents on, okay, right? So there has to be a fine balance between being strict and communicating and also being polite and courteous, to understand what it is. So it's a very, very fine balance that we will maintain, okay. So the problem in a human one is that, human beings get emotional. I can shout, okay. So we, let's say after 2 3 minutes, okay. But AI will never do that. So talking about AI ethics, right? What is ethics? Ethical. Ethics means doing things in right way. Yeah. Do things in right way. That's what ethics means at the core. That's it. Yeah. So how do we ensure that? We first of all we disclose that I am AI calling. I don't say that I'm human calling. Okay. So that is where the disclosure happens. Customer borrower knows, okay, which I'm talking to AI. Second is basically we take consent for anything that a borrower discloses with their qualifiers. So that's also there. So there's no freeze there. Okay. And then there's a full non-discrimination which is maintained, which means I don't discriminate whether it's from this place, that race, that language, or that language. So all the rules, all the guidelines are common. So I think in human world that bias or discrimination will anyway going to happen. Which we avoid in this case. So if you look at overall scheme of things, we are actually making the entire process more ethical and more compliant, and that's one of the pitch we have other than efficient collections. That we make this process more compliant, which means we are not just keeping lenders happy, borrowers happy, but also regulators happy. So this is a winning business model for all three stakeholders that are there in this.
So that actually works in your favor, the ethics part of it. So let's zoom out a little bit and talk about India as a whole and India's AI scene. In one of your posts, you said that India is becoming the global AI garage. What do you mean by this? So India is still behind the US and China in terms of AI research or output produced. So where does India stand currently, and what should India do, or what should Indians do to improve our standing and actually position ourselves as strong candidates in the AI race?
Okay, very very interesting question, and I think it needs some time to explain this properly. So I think let us look at from two sides today. One is the builder side or the supply side, and the market or demand side. So what can we do in the supply or talent side, right? So India, right, has got largest development or software developers. So we have got developers and talent there. We are working for global organization, that's different, but India has got talent, and that's our advantage. India obviously has a lot of data because of digital race we have now, the amount of people we have, and whatever it is, okay, right? So we have got a lot of data sources, data points which are there available with us, which obviously we can harness. And then there's a technology or infrastructure which is required to build AI. So if you look at these are the order, okay, of building an AI, right? Talent, your data, and then you have got infrastructure GPU, which is what AI mission is now pushing, okay, to make this infrastructure affordable and giving access to a lot of companies, okay, so that we can build AI models and all that. Now, coming to the market side of it, whether India needs AI, say, to consume.
Yeah.
Is AI an opportunity for us to solve Indian specific problems? Yes, definitely. So what did UPI did? What did Aadhaar did? Aadhaar actually created identity for people. UPI did next level where we simplify the payment process for what of the payment. Now AI is next opportunity for us to to distribute services like education, services like healthcare, affordable healthcare, legal services. So imagine, farmer, it's a high quality healthcare service on a voice agent, okay, service, which is provided by, a reputed company, okay, very cheaply. How? Use of a simple conversation voice agent in its own language.
Yep.
So I think if you look at this market, right, India has got its own unique challenges. Obviously, the challenge of, too much. We have diversity, too many languages which are there, and we have got a problem of affordability. License. Pricing is a problem. Yeah. So AI actually gives us it's a platform to distribute so many services across agriculture, healthcare, education, and some of the key sectors that India has. So that actually creates a very, very huge opportunity or potential for India to adopt AI in a very big way.
So you have companies like Anthropic and OpenAI looking to set up operations in India, right? Because like they all see India as a huge market and they want to capitalize on it. So what should Indian companies do again? Because they also see that there are all these sectors in India where they can make more money. So where would Indian startups or even larger Indian companies fit into this? How do they compete with American giants, so to say?
Yeah, I think this will be interesting
Yeah.
factor will be out there, right?
Yeah.
Wherein Western companies are coming to India, they're trying to adapt their models to India. That's where the challenge is, okay, right? Context. So Western model doesn't work in India. So I think the way we speak Hindi, the way we converse, right, it's very different from how Western world works. So I think that adaptation layer or adaptation process itself will be a huge journey for them. Second is everything about pricing will be different, okay, in India because of opportunity. If they can offer something like that, nothing like it. They will definitely try. Is it going to fly in all the areas? I don't know. How far they can sustain, I really don't know. Uh, Third thing will be about sovereignty. I think that's a big problem which we have because in India we want Indian data to be residing in India. So there's a whole momentum of nationalism and data sovereignty we have in India, right? So we want to build AI specific models. We want to preserve our data inside India. That is where the real battle will happen. Okay? So if there are regulations which bind these companies to keep data and build models from India, it might not turn out that cheaply and that effective for them, which might be a very important point for Indian companies to leverage. Okay? So I think it will be interesting battle. We don't know how it will pan out, but definitely I don't think that OpenAI and Anthropic have edge. Maybe they have done a lot of good work, but in India, when it comes at very specific diverse challenges India has. So I feel Indian specific companies, Indian services companies are better placed, who has a lot of experience in building systems, large scale systems like Infosys and Wipro and all technology. I think they are the ones which can take the lead and build something very good for India.
So you have companies like Tech Mahindra and Infosys and TCS. So they're all working on AI. So we were just talking about India-specific context, right? Indian companies building for India. So what is the scope for Indian companies building for the world, like going global?
No, definitely yes. Yeah. So I think if we solve so I think the approach that we have to take is that it's a Indian market first
Yeah.
and then globalize the place, not the other way around. So I think that's where the change in strategy has to happen. And which so I mean there's a playbook which is already there. There are a lot of SaaS companies in India which were in India, they expanded globally. So I think that playbook can be adopted in AI.
With your company as well, saying that let's hit the markets first and then.
Yeah, so coming to our company, we have not thought through our global expansion strategy, but we do realize that this is not an India specific problem.
Branding.
So there are market nuances, regulations. There's so many nitty-gritty of the market that we will study, and whatever relevant geographies comes to it, we will solve the question. But I think India becomes a very good testing market for us. Easy access. We can talk to the actual lenders, actual users directly. We can play around with our pricing models.
Largely.
Data sets available. So I think for next 2 3 years, we're not going anywhere.
So far, we've talked about the company India as a global. So just as we get into this, we see agent, AGENTS everywhere. And as a design school, we want to know our perspective and your thoughts on how agents work, where it's going forward, just an overall basis. So we get to have an head first as the science students, and yeah, your overall thoughts.
Okay, I think very interesting question, and I think agent is where actually this entire momentum is moving right. In whatever started with ChatGPT, right? So I think the way to think and imagine them, agents, right? So I think what is the ChatGPT? If you look at, right, it's a chatterbox. So you ask question, it gives you reply. It's just like Q&A, and you can talk to it. But so we started using ChatGPT. So people realize and understood that I can do a lot of question Q&A with that, a lot of research I can do. Okay, but what after that? Can it can it actually do my work? No. So I think that is where this entire generative AI momentum shift to agentic AI. The reason was that we wanted AI to work for us. So this work or action part is what distinguishes in agentic AI is, right? And the way to think about them is like this. Okay, so I got a mouth, speak. I got my hands and legs to do work. So these agents are actually pull something. So it chooses LLM, essentially as intelligence, mind and mouth. Yes, and then it adds hands and legs, yes, tools and other resources to act and to work. So you can do things like simple things, like send auto replies on whatever customer requests are coming. So it can understand all the requests are coming and what time it is coming. It understands the context. It can generate very smart responses and also send it back and also give you a call. So this entire process, if you understand, right, does not just involve generation of content. It involves a lot of understanding of the context, understanding of the nuances of it, how to personalize it. Also using tools like Outlook in this case to send it. So that's where agent gets interesting, and we are seeing variety of agents. So you can build personal agents, okay, for your work. The agent which can inform you for whatever you want to do. You can get personal things done with your personal agent. It works like any personalized way, yes, right? So there's set of agents which are building up both for your productivity, for your consumer cases, consumption, or as a customer, basically you can do a lot of work, and also businesses. Okay, that is where I think a lot of interest is now picked up. Where now businesses and enterprises think that these agents can actually work for us. So now what we are seeing is that a lot of repetitive work, a lot of human work is being done by humans, not so efficiently. In what case we said people not doing those works efficiently is now being done by AI, because that's where real opportunity is. Okay, can I do this, get this work done more efficiently, more reliably at a lesser cost? That's what business need to get, right? So this is how the business mind thinks. So I think we are seeing very interesting a phase where starting this momentum from generative AI, getting to agents, coming to consumers, now getting into businesses again. Is where the entire momentum is shifting, and which is where we are talking about AI. So,
So, in very one sentence, people are always giving you a definition. So, what is your definition of an agent?
so I think agent is something which is intelligent. It has got brain. Right. It thinks. It reasons. It plans. It executes. Okay, which means it actually does the work and reports back the work. So I think to me it is mind plus hands and legs together is this agent.
So the description you gave, it can think, it can reason, so words of that effect. So I mean, obviously this is up for debate, but LLMs do that, or they pretend to do that. The only difference that you're saying is that an agent can actually execute the task.
And not really the difference. So I think
Okay.
one is how to use his mind also. So giving the right context. So let's say given me a task or a goal, right? What I do is I use LLM to first generate the plan. Okay. So I don't just feed in my task to the LLM. First, I use this brain to break up my entire task or goal into tasks. Okay, and then execute one of these tasks one by one, all the tasks, and they get the work done. So I think the basic thing about agent is that it helps you get work done, and work is not just one task. So I think that is not right. So you should always think that task, a goal or a work has to be decomposed into tasks. So that decomposition also needs some design thinking. Okay, and how to decompose tasks, how to give resources to those tasks if you have to execute, and need resources and tools. So provisioning that, so it get access to all that. So I think the whole thing about agent is that it can understand what work you need, it can decompose that, it can execute those tasks, and it can also upgrade and update itself. Okay. So based on the feedback. So once the trained agent is available to you, let's say you're building a personal agent for you, and it does some work for you, which is writing mail possibly for all the leads and potential customers. Once you train them, this agent, right, over and over, after 10 days, 15 days, you realize that everything is autonomous. So that's how it works. So one thing is also autonomous. Okay? So that's where they are getting into, right? So slowly, when uh, these agents can become powerful, more trained, understand your task well, understand you as a person better, your needs are better, and also the entire context. We will start seeing autonomous agents which can do work independently.
So now that we have a baseline understanding of an agent, let's talk about design because, well, we're a design school. So how it applies to design. So when we were speaking earlier, you mentioned agentic experience as like the next step of user experience, user interface, that kind of stuff. So firstly, what is agentic experience? Why should we care? Yeah, why should designers care about it, and what should they do about it if it is something they should care about?
Yeah, I think very interesting question, and I think I'll give an analogy of break this down for you. So imagine, I think back home, earlier days we used to have family doctors. We used to have our own agent, travel agents, personal agents, okay. And everything which is more amenable to you guys, right? And then we saw Make My Trip becoming a travel portal, okay. And then e-commerce being taken up for buying and all that. So you had your kirana store, which was your next door shopkeeper agent broadly, and you have your insurance agent, LIC agents. Now you have got insurance. So I think if you look at physical world, okay, right, how relationships are made and how transactions are done. Tell me. So let's say you have some requirements for traveling, right? You have your own travel agent. You just make a call that I want to go to Delhi. Okay, the dates I have broadly, I give my requirements. Person already has a lot of context about you, what you are, your profile a bit,
My preferences.
differences, and some of the things, 50-60% thing that person already know about you. Yeah. So he'll start asking some questions to further clarify possibly, or he'll start giving you recommendations. Saying, so this is first option, option two, option three, this might cause this, and he'll ask for your vote. So if you look at this conversation, right, it'll be limited, okay. It'll be limited, it'll be very contextual, it'll be very smooth, okay. And finally, what will happen is the outcome is you'll be very happy with the choice you made. Let's say you actually do that option and then you will be happy. Because this is based on the relationship that you build with the travel agent.
He gave me the best value.
Yeah.
For the best
And
price.
he's not just looking at this transaction. He also knows that he'll give him business for multiple times. That's where the entire transaction, this relation will work. But if you come to, let's say, a portal, come to any UI that you like, which one will you like? Any travel portal like house, for booking, hotels,
Airbnb.
Airbnb, right? So what do you do? Okay. How do you book? And you tell me about your 2 or 3 experiences what you had with booking, okay? And in the final experiences you had with travels.
So you go to the place and you search where do you want to go, how much does it cost, but it doesn't know my personal preference. I like to have 3 bags. Does it have space for that?
So
No.
every time it is asking the same things.
Same things. So there's
Same
no
way.
change. Same UI, same.
So you are actually going and traversing the same path every time when you go to that portal. Even if you refresh the page, it will ask you the same thing. So what is current UI made for? It is very static. Current UI is very static. It is showing the same page to everybody. It is asking the same questions. It is asking the same question to same person. If I ask me again.
My Airbnb is same as his. Even if he books, I book.
So the way these UIs are designed, they are designed more more from designers' perspective, how they visualize this, not considering how users will use it. Okay, and they are not dynamic at all. I don't think UI changes people. Okay, they don't. They are static. So I think that is where it is breaking. Okay, so this digital experience, what you are building, they are not meant for any relationship kind of business. Okay, they are breaking. Okay, that's why you see if you just remove the top 50 million right of India, which is tier one. Yeah, there are hardly people who use them because I don't know how to use them. I don't know why. I don't see any value. Okay, I maximum I use is WhatsApp. Okay. But none of the digital products are seeing adoption there. Okay. Why? Because of this reason. because they do not give that kind of experience and feeling which I get people. So the opportunity is this, So in agentic experience, the big opportunity is to build this relationship experience. Can I do that? Can I have an agent which can talk to me like a travel agent, which was my friend, or a family doctor, which was my friend, and create and emulate that, okay? So you understand me, so you don't ask for unanswered questions. You understand me very well. So before I tell you something, you tell me something as a recommendation. So you're always proactive. And you are not thinking about this transaction, whatever you gain from this property. You always know that I'll come again and again and again. That is where agentic experience become really, really, really powerful and smart. So it's not no more about strategy wise and UX what we need to build. It's about real agents. Now these agents could be on text, on voice, or interfaces we can think about. Okay. How we are compatible with it. But experience and what a customer will get is a very delightful one. Just like how we see in physical world. So physical agents were never scalable. These agents were highly scalable. That's where economies of scale comes into play and why businesses should consider building such things.
Yeah, it's funny when you said that the designers have designed the site based on what they think and not what the users would want, or like, because like the fundamental thing of what we do here is you look at what the user wants, you figure out how the user would benefit from a website or an app or whatever the product is, and then you build it. So I found it very interesting that you said that the designers have designed it for themselves, not the user. So I think that tells us that there is a lot of work to be done, a lot of scope for this. And when you said that the website has a fixed path that every single user has to go through, even though they might all have
But
different.
just imagine the kind of cognitive load. See, many times I can't fill the form on UI because I can't think.
Yeah.
I don't know how to respond. I'm stuck. Why are you making me so as a designer, what you think is how can you take this cognitive load, okay, off from the user? So I think you should read a book called Don't Make Me Think. It's a very good book. It means when a user don't want to think. When it's on the page, he or she does not want to think anything, okay. The person is interested in getting work done. So I think what you have to do is you have to break that clutter of cognitive load that user has and simplify the life of user. If you can do that through agentic experiences, that you're all there. Okay. Example is that now you have Google search and you have perplexity search. You just compare the Google search where I used to get keywords where they were not even taking intents. They were throwing me 10 results and pages. Then I user has to take scroll on everything and find out the relevant information which used to consume hours and hours. Now come perplexity research where they say that you give me the intent. What do you need? I'll give you the answer. No, I'm not giving you an you tell me what exactly, and it understands you, it has a context of what you are. So it's becoming very relationship, okay. So I think that's a shift, okay, from traditional search up to generative and more agentic experiences, what you see in search domain itself is interesting. Okay. You should look at that. Even they're building voice and all on top of it.
This reminds me of one example. I'm not sure how comparable it is. So when they made the first iPhone, they removed the physical keyboard that used to be there on the previous BlackBerry phones or so. So the idea was, why do I have a fixed set of buttons for every single app that I have to use? Every single app serves different functions, and I want a different kind of UI and a way to engage with the app for that. So they were like, we'll remove the keyboard, we'll make the screen bigger, and we'll make it touch screen. So every app can have its own way of you interacting with it. So is this similar to interacting with an agent where you can talk to it like you would talk to a person, and everyone will speak slightly differently in their own way, and the agent has the ability to understand them. So I think this is like an even further step from what we had, what the iPhone's idea was, because the app, it's still a fixed UI, you still have to obey the app's rules, but now there are no rules, you can talk to it like you would talk to a person.
It's like
Yeah.
to a travel agent's office and he can get work done by his juniors, but I am talking to the person in my language. So I'm getting my work done, okay? I'm really not bothered about what he's doing in the background. But I can talk to this person like a relationship person, and then I get my work done.
I get my
So that's why I need. Don't throw me UI, don't take me cognitive load, don't take me to several menus. That's not user job, okay? User is come for a requirement, okay? And most of the time I don't know my requirement. Sometimes you have to ask questions to clarify my requirement. That is the job of the person, okay? If you understand the requirement both in terms of what you need and also the budget and everything, then I think you should give simplify users life to the best. That's all I think designers should look at designing these digital experiences for future.
True.
Right? So just don't make users think at all. If you can do that. So I think what is the best UI according to me is no UI. So I think AI gives us an opportunity where the voice becomes a UI. There is no UI. Okay. I just talk. It's a conversation kind of interface. There is no fixed menu, fixed structures. Nothing is there. I just have some basic set of data guardrails and what are the topics I have, and my conversation agent works. And it's the best form of UI, I think. Because people who so that's the best way of how human communication humans
Most last.
most natural. Humans have created artificial interface in terms of UI, which is more of non understandable, not so native. Okay. Now it is coming back to the most natural interface, which is voice, right? So it's coming in that. You can build agentic experiences, more conversational, more voice based. I think that's what I think countries like India need. Okay, where people are not set literate and they're comfortable talking on phone, right? So if I just look at all the convenience channels in India, I see more natural people talking on phone and then on WhatsApp. Why? No, these are the easiest ways how anybody can talk. Right? And that's how, if you can simplify your experiences to this level, then your option is already there.
We don't need.
You don't need anything else. If I am looking for a specific variety of a shoe on Amazon, why do I have to go to the site, drop down, select this, that? I can just say I'm looking for this, give me this. Simple query. So I'm just saying that you can build experiences like that. Huh? There has to be reasons why everyone not doing it. I'm not getting into that because they also want some discovery to happen. Not everybody knows what they need. If people are clear about what they need, then I think you can build more experiences where things can be done very fast.
So that is a balance that designers have to find. Yeah.
Amazon has already come up with something. I don't follow the name, but there's something there you can chat. So I think it's very interesting time. I think it's the best time I ever been in my career where designers, right, are now at the forefront of creating and using this AI revolution to simplify users' life, creating experiences of delight, and people coming ahead of it. So I think very, very interesting times to be living in. Right.
Also, this is the end of it. Time is running out, but thank you so much for being here. As Bits Design School, it was a complete pleasure to have you here. Me and Bartlia, we've been talking since yesterday about this, and finally meeting the person, we enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed coming to the campus, talking and interacting with students here, and really understanding and from them how much they are looking to learn about AI, what AI can do for them. I'm sure this is a set of series of things that we keep interacting, and this should be of value add to everybody who listens to this.